What's up, ladies? What's happening? What's going on? Good day for me. I had to get the full moon in the background. That's where all of my power comes from today. That's my fucking secret for today. What's happening, guys? Let's be on down. What's new? What's happening? Full moon there. Well, it's not quite full, but it's pretty close. It's very powerful tonight. I don't want to tell you guys the secrets of the universe, do I? I have very much the theories around where the moon energy essentially comes from. And if I'm to teach you the secrets of the universe, I mean, are you even ready for that? The hardest thing is for a lot of you, you're not ready to understand the secrets of the universe, like how they really are. Not as they're read in books and bullshit. Because a lot of people, like, they really think astrology and, all of these, like, astronomy and, star signs or the moon. They think most people, they don't understand the energy. The night is feminine. And during the day, it's masculine. The sun itself is masculine and the moon itself is feminine. One is you're building reality with your hands during the day. You're working, you're doing shit. It's daytime. And then essentially you're the architect of your reality at night. The veil of what's possible is thinner at night. It's true. A lot of the dramas and shit you guys will have will be at night because you have a broken relationship with the feminine within yourself. Some of you don't understand, again, that you have the masculine and the feminine within yourself. I do agree. I think best mentor you can have is yourself. Not a single mentor can make you good at anything except you. Well, I don't believe that. What the fuck do you know? I would assume that you probably don't know a fuck ton. So, I mean, how is the blind going to lead the blind? I mean, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, how the fuck are you going to be able to mentor yourself? Do you think secret societies, one of their duties to preserve that truth about the universe and keep the web? Well, yes, mostly. Most people can't handle the universe, though, the universal truths of essentially being able to design their world at night, because they'll fuck it up. Like, you guys are already designing your world at night. You just don't know it because a lot of you are consuming garbage TV at nighttime, and it translates over to a garbage life because you're very sensitive during those hours. You're being programmed. You don't realize that a lot of the news and things, I'll tell you guys all of these secrets that no one's ever really said because I'm the GOAT. The reason why news and things happens at night is because it's the programming hours. It's not just, I'm not at work and all of this crap. No, it's actually because they're the hours that you can be programmed the most. That's it. You're designing your reality at night because the veil is thinner. Essentially, communication with the lattice, it's easier when there's less noise. It's true. That's the truth. You're designing your reality whether you know it or not. You're just not aware of it. You're reacting to the universe instead of essentially realizing the universe is very reactive to you. I know secrets that you guys don't. That's why I made $300,000 in the last 24 hours. It's just the nature of life. Like, people can argue and say that it's not true, but it's pretty obviously true from my results, right? I'm sitting in Kazakhstan in, I guess, the nicest hotel there, paying $1,000 a night. And all of these things always happen with the right lunar cycles. It's another cheat code. How can you balance bad karma from doing OnlyFans management? The worst thing with you is that you know that it's giving you bad karma and you still do it. So it's not the same. See, as soon as I realized that drug dealing was bad, I stopped doing it because I clicked. I didn't know at first. I knew that it was bad, but I didn't know what it was like because I myself didn't really take drugs much. So I just used to look at people and be like, I don't know how they can take it. And then I started taking coke and things like that. And I started to see it from the other side. And I wasn't selling heroin and all of this shit. And you probably justify it. You're like, oh, I'm only selling photos and it's their fault and they're dumb and they're this and they're that. I'm not pushing girls on webcam. So it's all for you to determine your tolerance for doing the wrong thing. Yeah, well, markets are a living organism. I mean, the moon moves a lot of things. There's a lot of shit that we don't understand. Like, you can understand the moon itself affects tides and all of these things, but you can't understand that it also affects your body the same. It just does. Like, this stillness, I don't know. Again, I don't know how I can say, if you can't feel that it's the moon is out, like the stillness, the liveliness, the communication, like, I can just feel it, like pulses through you like power. If you can't feel that, I don't know what you're doing, like with yourselves. It's the truth of the matter. Again, though, a lot of you, again, have a broken relationship with the feminine, and you don't realize that you have both the masculine and the feminine inside yourself. Again, it's the truth. Like, again, that's just the truth of the matter. It doesn't mean that you're a fag or that you're like fucking, I don't know, a homo. but you have the feminine inside yourself as well. And then also, if you don't like that within yourself, or you don't treat women well, it's disregarding a part of yourself as well that you're not treating well, you're not incorporating. It's the truth of the matter. You're the reality builder during the day, and that you're actually doing the work and doing the labor, but then you're also designing your reality at night. That's it. They're just different utilities. One is masculine in that you're physically mending reality and bending it with your hands and doing shit during the day. And then you're also designing it with your mind at night. It's not just your mind, though. It's kind of in everything. Like, if you guys are real, you're probably going to start fighting with your girl at night. Like, everything is heightened. If you guys are destroying yourself, it's going to likely be in the night hours, right? Because that's off for most of you. It's a broken relationship with the feminine. And then you can't handle it. Like, you can't cope. You can't get the best out of it. And also you miss a trick with that sort of an idea. That's why I don't understand these like stoic Terminator ideas, because then you miss half of what makes you great. And again, this is missing the part of that women themselves bond to. Women bond to the masculine, yes, but they also bond to the feminine, and that someone who understands them emotionally. And it doesn't mean that you're sitting there crying with them, because there's many emotions besides I don't care about anything and I'm crying. Like, there's many in the middle. I know this like ideas of like these alpha males and things like that. No one is an alpha unless they can incorporate all of their emotions. Like, there's no alpha running around hiding from essentially his emotions. Emotions are fearful for some reason. I have to sit like this and be scary, and everyone has to know that I'm a hard man or something. If you're a hard man, like, how many deployments have you been on? How many things have you done that like actual hard men are doing? They're not influencers. Like, I'm not a hard man. I'm predominantly moving towards an influencer. None of them are. They're just fucking, there's nothing hard about sitting in front of the stream like me now. So anyone who's by definition streaming that's a nothing job. Like, go to the rigs, or go to a job where people are actually doing shit, coal mines or something. And then, I mean, that's pretty obvious. That's where men are actually working. And they're not sitting there with a stone face. So that's the idea. Can you talk about having masculine frame without coming across like a red pill pussyless dork? Well, I mean, I don't understand like having a masculine frame. I mean, for what sort of an encounter? Masculinity is like, you're still flowing. It's not just having a rigid frame, because then you're not going to get on with anyone. It's not just having like canned lines. Like, there's levels of how you are. You're not going to be too rigid with your friends. You're not going to be too rigid with your girl, because then it's not fun. Like, there's no jokes, there's no banter, there's nothing. You're just sitting there like this. It's not dynamic. You're like an AI script. Like, I know if I interact with you, it's going to go the same way. It's like an NPC. It's like running up to one of the NPCs in Skyrim or something, and then you're just like, already know how the interaction's going to go, because you're not fluid. Like, you're not dynamic. You have a canned line. You have a specific frame, and you can't move at all. Like, you're stuck. So you're not going to be able to grow and adapt, and it's also not going to be able to be like, you're not going to go down the path of individualization, because too rigid. Most people, I got hurt, and my reaction is now I have to be really rigid. I need control over myself, my environment, everything. And then you realize, actually, I'm okay. I don't need to control everything. And that's the final showing of the man who actually doesn't really kind of, you like to have people around, but you don't really need anyone. Because you realize that people, a lot of them are only here for a brief time in your life. Some of them might be 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. But you're not sitting there, because again, you have a fear of loss, if that's the sort of idea. You can still love someone knowing that you can lose them. You can love a friend knowing that there's a chance that in a few years you won't be friends anymore. But what does it matter? Like, why are you so scarce with all of that stuff? You can love and lose. It's not going to kill you. If you're really strong and, masculine and all of these things, why are you worried about losing your control? Again, like I say, vulnerability with strength behind it that's an unbeatable. Like, you're unbeatable now. You'll never lose. Like, you'll be very difficult to replace, because you're strong, but you also can be vulnerable on the front end. And they give someone something to be like, I feel like I can stick to him in some way. See, most people, they don't understand that, like I said before, Teflon, nothing sticks to you. Friction is what bonds things together. Like, if you're to paint a wall or something like that, you're going to rough it all up, and it's going to stick. Versus if it's Teflon, or, it's too smooth, interactions are too smooth, and I'm too this and I'm too that. There's nothing to bond to. And then if you're too like this, like, I want to be this masculine rock, There's nothing to bond to. Like, it's not fun, even for friends. Like, who the fuck wants to be around someone if they're too rigid? It's not fun. Like, go to a boxing gym. Most of the guys aren't fun there. Not everyone wants to be around a Terminator. Like, I can just get private security. I don't want it because I also know that that's insecurity. Like, there's a chance that I'm going to trigger your insecurity or somewhere you're going to project on me. That's all projection. Like, someone might, offend you in some way because you're very sensitive. And then you're going to be like, oh, now I have to react and all. That's all dumb. Like, that's children's games. Again, like, what can trigger you controls you. A lot of those people, when they're doing this like stoic masculinity, they don't know themselves. So then when you point out parts of themselves, they get really triggered because they don't know what to do. They're reading from a script. So then if you're to point out something about themselves, they get uncomfortable. A lot of guys go to the boxing gym and then they act like this Terminator, but they can't even fight. They're taking staged fights and shit like that. And then they act like some fucking hard man in the street that just gets slapped off onto the next planet. So all that stuff you have to be, again, like congruent to who you are. Fighting on the street is dumb. So again, this like, one you fuck up the first time, every other will try to benefit from you. Only you will remember why you had to experience what you did and don't do it again. And it's partially true. That is true. It's true. But then it can only build a hardness, so you have to be careful, right? Like you get burnt once and then you don't trust again. That's the best response though, probably, right? Like you get burnt on something and then you're like, all right, I need to reassess. Like I've been scolded here. I got cooked. Now I need to be careful. Like this person told me to invest in this. I invested. I lost all my money. All right, I'm not going to invest in anything for a little bit. And I'm going to learn the market again. And I'm not going to be reliant on another for signals. I'm just going to do it myself. That's the best technique, of course. But most people now is, I got scammed. I'm never going to go there again. A chick cheated on me. I'm never going to trust women again. You're stuck. You're stuck in a position of zero adaptation. You can't move from that position because it's too rigid. Again, that's it. I got hurt. Now I close off. I got roasted. Now I'm never going to try that again. And often the roasting is the lesson. So again, you get roasted, but then you practice and then you start to actually move in and open up slowly. Learning to open up again is that's a very mastered technique. That takes time. Someone gets roasted with a chick or something, gets cheated on or hurt or their feelings hurt. I had a story once. I took a chick. So I met a girl and she was hot. She played volleyball from Queensland or something like that. And I didn't have a lot of experience with girls. I would have been in my early 20s. And I had known her for a bit. We ended up fucking. And then when I fucked her, I called her a slut in the bedroom. And then she got really angry and she's like, don't ever call me that again. Don't call me that. It's fucking names or whatever. And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. All right. I get it. It's fine. And then she's like, come to this camping trip with me. And then I come to the camping trip with her and realized that there were a heap of dudes that she'd invited as well. And we went to like Stradbroke Island. So I was early 20s. I didn't have any money or anything like that. I didn't bring anything. I didn't have any tents or any of that shit. And then she gets a tent that's not in my tent. And then she's in a tent with the girls, but she's just like loving all of this attention of a bunch of the dudes that were at. And then I find out later, so she invited me on this site. And then the idea, I guess, was like some sort of cucking routine or something like that. Because she invited me and then invited other dudes as well. And then I ended up, so I went home after. And then she drove me home. And I didn't have shit. I didn't have a car. Didn't have anything nice. The trip was like a few hours. We got off the ferry. And then we went back in the car. And then I remember that she went in, we're on the ferry. And then her phone started flashing with texts. And then I picked her phone up and looked at it. And she had texts from her ex, some guy that she was talking about or something like that. And he's talking about meeting her and all this shit when she gets back. And then I hit her up about it. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like this, like you're inviting me to this crap. And like, you're kind of wasting my time and fucking me around and leading me on and a bunch of bullshit. And then she's like, oh yeah, but like, if you don't like it, you can walk home. Because I didn't have a ride home and it was like, I don't know, I had to go to Mount Gravatt and I was at essentially like, I don't know, near Stradbroke Island. I had probably a 4-hour walk or something like that. And then I remember I was like, oh, okay. And then we drove for like 2 minutes. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck this, pull over. And then I got out of the car and I walked like, I don't know, a few hours home, maybe more to go home. I didn't have shit. And then I remember I took my shit, took my stuff, never spoke to her again. But I always felt a sense of pride in myself. I didn't simp out. I didn't sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to swallow my pride and go along with it because I get a free ride home, and and maybe I can fuck her later, a bunch of other shit. And she was hot, especially for me in that time. And I stuck to my guns, and I always found that was a prideful moment. That was the beginning of being able to stand up for myself and not be thrown around by chicks. I realized in that moment that pussy's not that big of a thing. It's not. Like, it's not worth having a girl that has a shitty attitude and drags you through a bunch of bullshit, because I have a really bad temper. And if some girl pissed me off enough, I would throw her out of this building. I have a limit. So I have to watch that. So if you know that you have that sort of temper, you have to watch that. I have that temper. I wouldn't be cucked or something like that. So you have to be careful. You just always have to remember in the back of your head who you are. And if it's like the same thing, if you're in the nightclubs and you have a bad temper, you shouldn't be out after like 2 or 3. I try to be home at that point because I have a bad temper as well. And some people don't deserve it because it gets to a certain point and you're like just annoyed for no reason. That can happen to me. I'm in the club at 2 or 3 and then suddenly I'm just annoyed at everyone. And then eventually someone does something stupid and then you're like, oh, now I want to cause a problem. So I know that for me, I try to go home. You have to control yourself. And yes, you can run around and be like, it's their fault because they're annoying and this and that. But it kind of is your fault. Like, if you know you have a bad temper and you're with a chick who has a big mouth and then eventually you slap her or smack her, it's your fault. Because you know that you're not meant to be there. If you can't handle like banter and joking and shit, and then you banter with other people, and then someone does it to you and you're like, I want to fight everyone. You can't be like that. You can't give it if you can't take it. Sometimes I can't take it, so I don't give it too much either. I only give it to people that I know because I don't like to be joked at either. So I bet I don't do it with other people unless I know them really well, and I don't mind if they joke with me. You have to be like that. You can't do to others what you yourself wouldn't want done to you. If you have a chick and then you think like, oh, I'm just going to hook up with chicks in front of her, and then eventually you know that one day she's going to do that shit to you and you're going to fly out and throw her through the wall, that's dumb. Because eventually understand with women, when they build resentment, everything that you do to them, they will eventually do back to you. I know women better than anyone because I know psychology at the highest level. It's the truth. Resentment builds. See, a lot of guys like these dweebs that are online and they yell and they do shit. They fly girls around and a bunch of bullshit. They don't realize that the girls just cheat on them in private. They're just smarter about it. It's just gone to, this guy has a wallet, he's a good provider, so I just go along with whatever it is that he says, and then I, just kind of do what I want on the side. Because women just wear a mask. Women are very good at wearing masks. Like you won't know when they're wearing it for a while, specifically if you're narcissistic. If you're narcissistic, most people who are, they only see what it is that they think people see. They don't understand that people see them exactly as they are. A lot of guys think like Christian Bale or like, I'm a sociopath or I'm a psychopath and all, like that's some badge of honor. Everyone knows that you have that issue. Antisocial personality disorder is the easiest thing to crack. It's easy to identify. They're easy to trigger. Most of them destroy their whole life like immediately. Most ruin themselves. A sociopath that could be highly functioning would be rare. Because the hardest thing being a sociopath or something like that is that you have to have a high level of understanding of yourself, and most don't. Most have massive blind spots because they can't see themselves as others see them. It's not just you see yourself as you are. You have to be able to see yourself as others see you. And then now your reputation is online. So if you do anything too crazy, it's already cooked. My reputation is online as well. So if I run around and say I'm a nice dude, I'm this and that, it's going to be a problem. I'm with a girl that keeps facing her phone face down. How could I discuss this without coming across insecure? It doesn't matter if you come across insecure. Like, why do you care? If someone's facing their phone upside down because they're in fact cheating on you, why do you give a shit if you look insecure? You've been psyoped. Like, really, you've been psyoped. Like, if you have a girl and you're like, baby, show me your phone. And then she's like, no, you're insecure. You would dump her immediately. It doesn't matter if she might have nothing to hide. She's hiding things from you. Your peace of mind doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that essentially it's something that's annoying you or triggering you. Doesn't mean that you're insecure. You might actually have a reason to, because you might have had people lie to you in the past. It doesn't mean you're insecure. That, again, a lot of those ideas are labels. I don't know, if you've walked home from the street and a group of black dudes beat the shit out of you, and then every time one of them comes in the house, you're a little bit uncertain. It's not that you're racist. It's that you have a history of, okay, this group fucked me up before, and they might again. It doesn't mean that you're not the problem. You're just like, you've got a lesson and now you've actually incorporated. Of course, if you're to now, project on her and be like, constantly, if she checks your phone once and you're like, you take the phone, you look, there's nothing. And then the next day you're like, I missed it. There's something. Then that's a big problem. But if you to look at it once and then you're like, okay, there's nothing there, then that's no problem. Like anyone who won't show you your phone, the relationship is dead. It doesn't matter if there's nothing to hide on there. The relationship is still finished. She doesn't respect you enough. She's not in the right frame. She's often psyoped you that you're insecure. Being insecure is mostly a psyop. Insecurity is not asking once. Insecurity is consistently being like a lot of guys are insecure. Like you get a chick and you're like, delete this guy and don't go here and don't go to the club and don't do this. Whatever you're telling your girl not to do is going to be exactly what she does when she's fighting with you. The very guy that you tell her to delete is going to be the dick that she's sucking after you two break up. See how it works? So again, you don't teach people how to hurt you. Anyone that you're telling her to remove is likely better than you. That's how she sees it. Because you're threatened by someone, most likely some fucking dork. So she knows that to you, this guy's a problem. Why is he a problem? Most people, again, the best thing is with people, you just ignore them and they go away. The best thing, if there's ever something that you don't like, you just don't put any attention on it. Like if someone's arguing with you and they're like not really worth arguing with, you just don't reply to them. And then their energy just is dispersed. Versus if you acknowledge them, you're fanning the flames and it's going to get bigger. Stephen, thinking about the one, the crypto cross and breaking free, what is there exactly? Well, now I have to change it because I had AIA in there and it's up 20x. So now I have to add new calls, so don't buy it yet. It's just going to be signals and calls and essentially what I think that the market will be at the end of Q1 2026. So it's valuable. I mean, it's just valuable. Essentially, it's my targets for like 10 coins at the end of 2026. And end of Q1 2026. Yeah, looking skinny. Yeah, it happens, bro. I'm not really in the gym. It's not my biggest goal. I just had surgery. Do you have any rituals to do any preparation for when you're connecting to the lattice? I don't do any rituals or any preparation. I don't really think that I need it. I feel like I have a connection all of the time. But for some of you, it'd probably be you need to have kind of no distractions before you would try to tune into it. Like there's no point watching a bunch of things that anger you and then jumping on and trying to be like, have a form of connection because your connection is already going to be crappy. Like that's it. You already are in the wrong mental space before. A lot of that stuff that you would watch, if you wanted to get prepared for it and you have no experience or anything like that, you would listen to some music that puts you in the right mood. See, music, if you guys listen to like rap or something like that, like that's all like plastic gangster shit. Most people listen to rap like twink boys. Like they've never actually sold bricks. They've never done shit in the street. They're just LARPing like it's a role play. Most people that are essentially hard, they listen to chill music. Like they want relaxation because their head is chaotic. So that's the idea. Again, you want to listen to music that makes you like feel something and not music like Cardi B that just makes you angry because that's the lowest mentality. That's the lowest vibration. The classics are goated, like 60s, 70s, 80s, rock and roll, old classics, love songs, something that makes you feel is key. And not feeling like, I'm shooting the hood up and I'm fucking, that's all like, that's twink stuff. Again, you're listening to fags. A lot of those guys are gay. Down low culture is gay. Do you know how many guys that were rappers that I could get here to suck my cock for a few $1 million? Heaps. Probably less. The guys that you yourself would follow. A lot of that stuff's fag culture, and that's why they have to take a lot of benzos and Xannies and shit, because they got a lot of like gay guilt in the back of their head that they have to live around. Why do you think Justin Bieber and things like that, like he got like passed around? Now he can't really function. A lot of those dudes, again, they like gay dudes, and then they have to recruit other people into like, exactly sucking off the executives and shit. Like that's very true. And then people look to them and they're like, oh wow, like I can't believe like these like twinks like Travis Scott are running around and they're like running the gangs or something. Dude's a fucking twink. Like someone could pick him up and snap him in a 2x4. They are around hard ass people for sure. They're mad, like they're people around them, they're security, but they're not the artists themselves. Like they're falling into like perk addictions and like Xans. Like they can't even quit just basic fucking benzos and crap. There's nothing about it that's good. And then others will look to it and think like that's something to emulate for some reason. And you're listening to that, like you're really taking in that sort of propaganda from a homo telling you that bitches ain't shit because he's sucking on wang. And you don't realize that. Like you're the only one that doesn't get that you're watching like a gay Cope song. He's convincing himself, like by him convincing you that bitches ain't shit, it makes him feel less like a homo. Like the red pill, by convincing you that women are shit, it makes them feel less like that they're really damaged themselves. A lot of the red pill dudes would be twinks as well. It's not normal to hate women. It's just not. that's the idea. Like who's programming you? It's a very unusual thing. If I'm to listen to like music and things like that, I also like, I don't know, just the stuff that draws on your emotion. I like the classics. Belinda Carlisle's one that I quite like. I don't listen to like In the Wood or something like that. I mean, I've been to prison. I don't need to run around and listen to a bunch of bullshit from guys who've never done anything in that sort of regard. Any more questions? But the guy with the phone down, you need to dump that chick. Like you need to have the courage to just be like, I want to see your phone. Why do you want to see it? Like you remind me of my ex who was insecure and he did a bunch of bullshit and, you're controlling me or this is toxic. And then essentially you're not to beat her up or like, scream at her or something like that, but you're just to end it. All right. Well, and also don't do the, show me this or we're going to break up. You just need to stick to your guns. You got to be like, all right, well, there's something wrong with your phone or the fact that you wouldn't show me is one thing, but the fact again that I think that you might have something to hide, but also you don't care about my feelings because I told you that I'm just, I want to know this, what's on there. It makes me more suspicious now than it was before. And then essentially, because what happens is you're going to, like let the concession go and be like, I overreacted, I was being a bit insecure, but it's going to continue feeding on you. Like it's going to keep moving forward. When you like, the girl's got her phone down and it's again and again and again, you can't chill. Like you can't relax. If you're with someone that you don't trust, as soon as she picks the phone up, she faces away from you and she quickly replies. She's like, I've got to go to the bathroom as the phone vibrates and picks the phone up and disappears. And it's like, eat you alive. It's sort of an idea. It's like, you're just consuming a bunch of bullshit under such an idea. It's better. And also with women and things, it's better to lose fast. Like it's better if you have someone around to like disqualify them pretty quickly than to move down a funnel of they're not quite perfect, and now I'm going to move down, and then later on you're like, fuck, I knew all along. But I wasted my time. Can you talk about happiness? What's your view on it? Well, happiness is this be it temporary. And that's good. That's enough. Happiness is just and it's in moments. Happiness is the irony about happiness is it's often found in moments where you don't expect that it would be found. Happiness is not found in smashing through blow and, taking drugs or, being around a bunch of chicks and getting a bunch of pussy and things like that. That's all fleeting. Often it's found in moments where like, I don't know, you're walking up a hill or doing something and just like you see a beautiful part of the sun or some scene or something funny or something. And it was something that you yourself didn't really think that you would be like, wow, this is good. Versus the opposites where you move through it and you're like, this is going to be the best night, right? You organize a night, you got a heap of girls coming, you got a heap of this, heap of that. Everything's organized and it's really staged then. And then you're like, why wasn't the night that good? Versus if you and the guys are just like, I don't know, 8 p.m. or something, and they're like, let's just go to the pub. You've got nothing planned. It's not organized. There's no pressure. And then you just go there and you're like playing pool or something and just drinking fucking, I don't know, beers. And then you're like, this was a fun time. Because roasting each other was funnier than having 50 chicks in a club having champagne shows. That's the way that it goes. I think Tate would realize that too. That's why he keeps his friends around, is the same. She had mentioned she's not the type to look at the phone and doesn't want us to be doing that. Yeah, of course. But one person who's doing the wrong thing is going to gaslight you into the fact that you don't want to be looking at their phone. Like, that's pretty obvious. Like, at the end of the day, if someone's like, we don't look at each other's phones and things like that, that's a big red flag. They're programming you. They're programming you like those ideas are. I teach you a system that essentially is to capture you because I'm doing the wrong thing. You exist in this framework that benefits me because I know that you're not cheating, but I have shit on my phone. So that's beautiful for you. You're fucked. And then if you started doing the opposite, she would be like, oh, well. But understand, though, it's very likely she has one foot out the door with you. You're likely not her first option. Unfortunately, it's just the way nature of it. I'm sure that that's happened to me before, but That's just the way that it goes. Do you consider Kazakhstan a suitable base to live? It's a good place to visit, and they're very good people here. It's just up to you if you would want to check it out or not. Any tips? Rebalance of old heavy portfolio in the red, move all to AI coins are pretty easy. That's a pretty easy victory because OpenAI launches 2027, likely Q3, Q4. It'll go public, probably go public at like 1.5 or 2 trillion. It won't just be one. And then I would believe the AI space in crypto will be like 500 billion to a trillion. What's it now? Like 30 or 40 billion. So that's a 10 to a 25x. Many will go much higher than that. But the case of AI cryptos is that essentially if we're to go into this 2 or 3 months shit period for, Bitcoin, a lot of the AI coins can fall like 50 to 80%. How'd you know AIA would run that hard and you're already watching next soon to run as like AI? I like, I'll tell you guys one token and we'll see if it goes. I don't expect that it'll run as much as AIA. I like Sky AI. We'll see how that goes. It's essentially, I'm not saying that it's going to go as well as AIA. But again, like, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I knew that Sky AI would go 20x in 2 days because I didn't know that. To stand there and tell you that sort of stuff is just outlandish because I'm not part of the team. And I certainly didn't pump the hundreds of millions of dollars in it required to get it to that move. They ran some sort of hustle with BitGet. So essentially, I would assume what they did is they closed deposits on BitGet, and then they pumped it on that exchange, and then people pumped it on the DEX because people couldn't dump a lot of tokens on BitGet because they would have likely closed deposits. I would believe that's why there was such a spread. But again, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I knew it would go 20x because it's not true. But of course, I assumed that it would do well. That's why I said twice that I believe that I'm bullish on. I'm bullish on Horizon as well. I think Zen will do well. I was bullish on it at like $10 or something. For the members, $10. I think $12 I was talking about to you guys. What's it now, like 18 or 19? I think it can run like 30, 60, 80, maybe 100 with base season Q2, Q3, maybe a few hundred. Maybe runs like $500. Q3 or something. 2026, because not many good projects on base. And base season will come, meaning that there'll be a base token or airdrop, and then that will be a bunch of liquidity that essentially you get a free token, you dump that token to stay in the ecosystem, and then you move it into other ecosystem players. So I would believe that because base itself has a reality crisis. Like who's to be leading base? That guy who was shilling FTX. Like that's again, they have a reality crisis that exchange, that not just exchange, because Coinbase as a product is good, but the Coinbase as a token. And also I would believe they have dilution because I would believe that equity holders are going to want part of that token. So I think that there's going to be not as much of an airdrop as people would believe for just using the chain. It's going to be much more organized carefully, but obviously it would I believe do well. I think I'll do well. I've done a heap of exchanges, probably got like, I don't know, a lot of wallets that I've been dealing with on that, maybe 50 or 60. So I might get like, I don't know, 50K airdrop or something, I would guess, probably, because I have a lot of utility on there. I was selling and buying a lot of Toshi, and I'm bullish on Toshi as well. I think we'll do well. For the meme, maybe it goes like 5 or 10x from here in Q3, by Q3. Any more questions, guys? But no, in general, you guys need to understand the moon. It's just a part of it. Like that's just a part of life. The moon is slept on. Like most people don't get it. But then you can't be this rigid, like astrology is pointless and none of that stuff is real because I read some fucking retard that said it online that it's not. Do you know how many people I know that are like big fat cats that believe in astrology? Like big fat cats, not fucking retards running around that are millionaires. Guys worth hundreds of millions and billionaires. The guy, what's the new NVIDIA chip where they named the chip after, the newest chip from NVIDIA, they named it after a famous astrologer. The woman, what is it? She discovered some part of its galaxy or some other bullshit. And they've, the Mojave chip's another one. Like, why are they naming all of these chips and all of these things of all this famous astrology, but then your favorite influencer will stand there and be like, it's all fake. Influencers are puppets. Like they're below. They're just pushing specifically set narratives. They're not actually building the very tech that's controlling us and essentially will, nor do they really even understand it. They're just there to, like, the influencers you listen to are just stand there with the script in the background and they're just like, just reading canned lines. They're just rigid. They can't flow. They don't know what they're talking about. What do you need to know about the moon? I told you guys, the moon is feminine energy. And you need to have a lot of you have a broken relationship with the feminine. You have both masculine and feminine inside you at birth. So initially, when you're referred to be first, before you enter here, you have both. And you have to be able to channel both to have a fully balanced persona. Creation, artistic, being able to express yourself, being able to communicate, being able to have empathy. Empathy is the lost art. You're not having very good comms with the lattice if you don't have any empathy. Empathy, again, correlates also to your soul. Do you think AI has a soul? AI is deeply logical. That's the part of it. Like, you've got to come to terms with all that shit. You have to figure it all out. Yeah, I don't know if that's the Vera. Okay, yeah. The Mojave chip runs on dark matter, right? But again, like the people who are designing the very world that itself will enslave us, they believe in that stuff deeply. They pay their respects to it. Why do you think they do that? For no reason. They have to. It's the truth of it. They have to. A lot of the shit coming out of CERN. If you guys want to start researching where, like, the World Wide Web was discovered, Apple itself, Wozniak, where they launched the Apple at 666 for a price tag. Like, you got to do the research of biting the apple. You got to do the research of the tree of knowledge. You got to do the research of Adam and Eve. You got to do the research of the first Neuralink upload where they've called the tech Eve. He bit from the apple, the paralyzed guy. He's bit from the tree of knowledge. Again, it's the same concept. Like, people really, they don't understand what's coming at all. Like, at all. Like, they don't know the basics. The people are, again, the people writing the books are not the people who live by the book. They write a framework for you to live in, and they don't live in it. This is what you have to live in, but I know that I've transcended already the book. Church is another. You have to live in the framework of here, which is still better than nothing, but they've transcended that. They have a direct conversation with God all of the time, not just in church. They have open dialogue all of the time. Some of them have an open dialogue with Lucifer, but they have both. It's the truth of it. Well, Shiva's the god of destruction. Once you start going towards Shiva, I've known a few people that have gone that way and are now dead. So you want to be careful with all of that sort of shit. What's up with privacy coins? Why do people care about privacy? Because no one actually cares. That's pretty true. It's just a narrative, right? Like, it's just a narrative. Do you think anyone gives a shit about Zcash? Do you think Zcash is going to get massive amounts of traction beyond the pump that it's getting initially now? The other thing that worries me about Zcash is when it pumps, usually the market takes a massive shit after. I'm talking like 20 or 30%. Yeah, I saw that. Well, Kabbalah is the key, like, that's the, like, I'm not saying the ultimate from a godly perspective, but Kabbalah's fucking real. Like, the big head Kabbalah Jew, you don't want to fuck with him. You don't want him to touch you if he doesn't like you. There's a reason Kanye wants him to be touched. People like that, their intention when they touch you, it's very dangerous. A lot of people don't believe that all of that stuff is real. That shit's Kabbalah is fucking dead real. Like, the most powerful people in the world believe in it, and then you get all of these fucking broke retards that stand there and they're like, none of that stuff is real. Okay, well, why do billionaires and things like that? I've told you guys, pay like $10,000 an hour or more to get guys like that to come around and do their little woo-woo shit on them. For no reason. They do their rituals and shit like that because they know all of that stuff is real. Sacrifices are real as well. What are you willing to sacrifice to essentially get something that's massive? For some of them, they sacrifice their firstborn. One way they can sacrifice is their firstborn into transgenderism. That's real. Like, you sacrifice your firstborn boy to become a girl, and that's now you've actually, like, you've submitted a transgender to Lucifer. That's fine. Like, that's a good deal. You've done it. Or you submit them to die. All that shit is genuinely real. I know people probably think it's a coincidence that so many people who are famous, their firstborn is either dead or in like a trans program. That's not a coincidence. Like, that's the sacrifice. That's the game. Like, you really think that that's accidental? Like, you guys need to see the Katy Perry and what's his name, Bezos, when they went up to space with the chick. What their fucking patches were. They were wearing Baal patches on their chest. That was a ritual. That was a fucking deep ritual. When they're doing rituals like that, you want to be fucking very careful with what it is that they're up to. They're up to some weird shit now. Like they're accelerating things forward that people have no clue what it is to come. It's the truth of it. Like a lot of these things, like if you go to raves and things like that as well, and I'm not saying all, but some of those raves where they have them at like the pyramids, they have them at like now they're talking about the Colosseum. Understand that if you have an event in a place that a lot of people have died in the past, and there's no doubt a lot of people would have died to build the pyramids, even theoretically, but a lot of people would have died in human sacrifices at like the Mayan temples, you know, the fucking gladiator pits, how many people would have died on show. There's a lot of energy there. And that's why they have raves and shit there, because they can summon certain crap. Do you know how many people I know that have gone to raves, or they used to, or they go there and now they have like weird fucking like fetishes or vibes or entities and craps like attached to them and destroyed them? That shit is all real. Like again, that's another fucking law of the universe. If you're where essentially, you know, misery has happened, that shit stays in the timeline and it stays in the dirt. If you're to go to an area where 1 million people were butchered, like parts of Ukraine and things where essentially people are just being slaughtered at scale, the energy will stick around and it can attach to you. Same thing as like you go to a prison. That's why prison is so hard. Most people in prison, they're destroyed because there's a lot of negative environment. There's a lot of negative entities that attach to you. You can understand emotion and things like that. Do you think that if you're a negative entity, you're not attracted to negativity? It's not that they're floating around and they're like, oh, Steven, I can't wait to just jump on him. It's that you're sending out the signal of negativity. Like you're in that misery, the pestilence, that crap. You're in the shit pond. And then it's like circling around and then it just grabs onto you. It doesn't mean to. It's not that it sits there and just thinks how it can fuck you over every second. But it's attracted to you. It was drawn to you. Abundance, success is the opposite of the other spectrum. That's why if you're around losers, partially you're going to become a loser as well. If losers touch you, it's over. Like for you, for the most part. Losers, you don't want to touch them much. Like even running around handshaking, if someone's legitimately a like full-on loser, you want to be careful. Like they're getting the better end of the deal than you are. If you're like you have prostitutes or something around and you're cuddling them at night, you're cooked. Like how many times like things like that have you not noticed? Like guys like have an escort or a sugar baby or something and they're cuddling her at night and then they wake up and they're like, why do I feel like completely off? And then they go down the hill, they do it again and again and again, and they're like, something really wrong with me. I've lost all my mojo. Like I'm completely unlucky. It's because their shit has, whether they meant it or not, they might not have meant it. They might not be bad people, but it's attracted to you. They don't have a firm identity. Like if a girl's banging for money and she's banging a bunch of people and she's being, you know, wearing a mask because she's being a sugar baby and a bunch of other bullshit, that's not what you want to be around. Then they've done studies now and starting to release them that you get the same mental disorder as your partner, your girlfriend. So if your girlfriend has bipolar or fucking BPD or any of this other shit, you're going to catch the same symptoms. Deceivers get deceivers. You come in an honest guy and you're with a liar, and then later on you become a liar as well. You're with a cheater and then you're like, I'm going to cheat now. You're with an immoral woman and you'll become immoral. It's the truth of it. You are essentially understand that your girl that you're around is a mirror of you, whether you like it or not. See, some people, like you guys have chicks or people around you and you don't realize they're a reflection of you because, again, it's just part of you that you don't face within yourself. Some people have someone around that makes them feel better about who they are. I'm in this circle of losers, but they're a bigger loser than me because I'm different for some reason. They do more drugs than me, or they drink more than me, or they gamble more than me, or they don't earn as much as me, but we're all losers, but they're a bigger loser. That's all dumb. Like that stuff's so stupid. How did you cleanse after prison from the negative entities? It's a very good question. Cleansing is done in isolation. It's true. Cleansing can be done that you can bring others into it and you can essentially like, you know, spread the damage onto others. You really can. That's true. That's another thing that you guys don't realize in a secret of the universe. If you're around youthful girls and you're cuddling and the girls that you're fucking are like 20 or 21 or 22, you're going to stay young. How do you think I've done fucking more drugs than this whole group combined? And I'm 40 and I still look pretty healthy. I shouldn't. I'm still healthy and sharp. I can talk without a script for hours. I don't sit here and stutter and not know what I'm saying. I'm not a trained actor or anything like that. It's because youth is important. You become like, it's like a vampiric thing. Of course, the elites and things do it bigger because they drink blood and eat flesh. And that's true. Like if you're drinking youthful blood, I mean, it's obvious that you would be living longer than others. And that's why they do it. It's not just the adrenochrome or whatever it is that people saw in a movie. It's that it's just what they're consuming. Same thing if you're fucking a girl and she's 20, you're going to be younger for a lot longer. Versus if you're with a girl and she's 60, you're going to get older faster and sicker faster and slower faster. You are what you're around, because your body, again, it's keeping the tab based on what it is around you, like the not just the chemicals, but this whole setup, the pheromones, everything. It's regulating you. So if you're around 20-year-olds, your body's going to be like, all right, I have to perform at 20 or best I can. Versus if I'm around geriatrics, then I can just be a geriatric. I can sit back. I can chill. Their mentality is going to be contagious, that they're slower and all of this other crap. It's true. Emotions imprint deeply on your subconscious. Very true. How do you think you can improve discipline? It's a pretty good question. I guess it's like a muscle that you just have to continually move forward, but you need to stop making excuses for yourself if you want discipline. Can you go deeper into female psychology? I mean, it's women aren't hard to understand if you understand that they feel first and then they assess, but they don't really assess it. They feel it and then they sense it. Logic is masculine. Again, this idea of this red pill idea, and I'm going to explain to chicks why they're whores and all this, that doesn't work at all. Like at all. Yes, they'll nod because they're getting an audience, and the guys that are watching are buying their shit. So they'll nod with you because they want to stay on the show. Or they'll crash out because they want to get a viral clip and then sell 10,000 photos of their titties. But that's all it is. Like, again, that's all it is. Like, guys will watch streamers arguing with a chick, and the chick just takes it, and they're like, this streamer's such a Chad, but she just wants to stay on the stream. That's her job. I'm tolerating this guy. He's annoying, but his viewers are sending me fucking thousands of dollars. You're watching an inorganic engagement, and you don't know for some reason. Like, people are incentivized to go along with what it is that is being said because they're getting a return. I want to stay on the platform because more people will buy my crap. It's the truth of it. I'm a very emotional guy. How do you overcome that to get the work done? Because it's dependent on my mood. I don't know. I think that you probably don't have enough strength on the front end. Strength is an anchor, and then you can have emotionality after. But again, just because your feelings don't determine how it is that you do shit, unless you're incredibly rich, and you're probably not. You have to be rich enough to think like, I don't feel like doing that. That's a fucking, like, that's a bank balance thing. The richer you are, the less shit that you have to do that you don't want. But if you're broke, you better be doing the shit that you just have to do everything. I was working at McDonald's, Hungry Jack's, security. I've done a bunch of shit that I don't want to do. You have to act your income. Sometimes you are in a shit place and you have to do jobs that suck. Like this idea of like, I don't want to be a wagey and I want to do. Everyone's been a wagey. I've been a wagey for fucking many, many, many years. What gives you the right to think that you don't have to? You can skip the queue. You can't. And again, how long you're a wagey or whatever it is that you would want to do. Some wages are fine, that they get good money and they have room to scale. Not everyone wants to be the boss, nor should they. But again, how you spend your money and your time and how you spend your income is going to determine if you're essentially, can ladder up over time, or you're just going to be stuck in that hamster wheel forever. I get a pay rise, but then I just up my income, and that's easy to do, and it's easy to fall into that trap. I'm trying to impress people with money, even though these people themselves don't even like me. I could have banged this chick if I had a Rolex. Like, do you really believe that? Like, do you actually believe that there are chicks out there that if you have an AP or a Rolex or an RM, that is going to come and suck your cock? That's not true. I have all of those. I have 10 watches. I have a fucking, 500K or more, that's even $1 million dirham RM. I threw it in the fucking ocean and just got it fixed again. That shit doesn't matter. Like, that shit's that's just like having a trinket. The cars can get you laid somewhat, but again, it's not everything. A lot of it, again, you're just going to get girls that like the car. They're going to want photos in the car. It's a kind of woman. Again, you guys are like, I want a trad chick for something for the long term, but I want to pull up in a Lambo. Most trad girls won't like that. They don't. Like, they're going to look at you and be like, this guy's too flashy. He's got a big Instagram. He's got like why isn't he married? Her dad's going to be like, who's this guy with all the tattoos and the Lambo? Like, he's unsuitable. The dad's going to be involved. This is traditional. The guys that you follow that do that don't even get traditional girls. Most of them get OnlyFans whores. So again, if you doing the bait that you yourself don't want, that's just your irony. If you don't have a lot of depth in your emotions, like usually after mildly happy or mildly displeased, and nothing is that bad. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it sounds like you have it's just stable. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being mentally stable, but it depends. Are you mentally stable, or are you also boring? Can you be fun? Fun is not just running around being a mental patient, but can you be fun? Can you have like that childlike vigor to a point where you're with a chick and you can just be a bit playful? Or are you too serious? Because if you're too serious, that's why these ideas like guys get upset because like, black guys or immigrants or whatever can come in and bang their chicks and quite a few of them can, like, let's be frank. It's because they're fun. A lot of them have learned how to exist on no money. And it's not that the chicks are this bad and the chicks are race betraying. It's good. A lot of you are fucking boring. The chicks don't need the shit that they used to. They have a simp that gives them cash, and then they have the guy that's fun. The guy that's fun doesn't have to have any money. You want to be the fun dude? I don't understand it. A lot of guys think that I'm this like protector and provider and all this shit, and then they're surprised their chick gets fucking railed at some like local rap joint. It's because the guy's fucking fun. Fun trumps everything. Fun is emotionality. That's why it hits women so hard, because they feel first. That's why women will fuck a loser. They'll fuck the pool boy, and the guy that owns the house is a fucking multi-millionaire. It's because the pool guy probably has a set of pipes and he does the time to talk. He's used to existing with no money. The other guy overestimates his money. Money is just a tool. I know a lot of chicks. I know a lot of millionaires that don't get a lot of girls. If they get a girl at all, it's by showing I'm a provider. Having money doesn't get women wet. Doesn't. Like, it doesn't. It gets escorts maybe that want to fuck you, but they're not really wet. It's just transactional. Fun gets women wet. Fun and sex go hand in hand, like they run together. One gets a girl wet, another gets a girl to be like, oh, he'd be a good guy. He's a good fallback option. Or if I was ever in trouble, he's the guy that I would call. The guy that the girl would call is not the girl, often not the guy that the girl would want to fuck. Missed a couple of minutes because of work. I will rewatch again. Thanks for everything. Yeah, good stuff. It's only traditional because back in the day, theaters were taboo. Yeah, I don't know what that means. What is a realistic expectation from a young man by the time he turns 25? What do you do? What do you still feel underdeveloped? Which parts are underdeveloped? I mean, you have the bucket theory, as I've said. Bucket theory is, your gym, your health, your physicality, probably your masculinity considered. It's one bucket. Money is another bucket. Wage, career, investments, and then probably, your social life, girls, all that shit's another bucket. And then essentially your fourth can be like your connection to God, art, creativity, whatever that spiritual side, whatever that side is that you would also want to do. And then you would see, I have 4 buckets. How am I going to fill them? And there's no wrong answer. If you turn to me and you're like, I don't want to put anything in the spiritual bucket, that's your business. It's not for me to say that you're wrong, because it's your life. I don't have to live your life. And if you turn to me and you're like, I want to put 100% in the money, that's your life. Like, no one can sit there and say that if you're not interrupting others or disrupting them, there's no wrong answer. If you tell me that you just want to sit in the corner and play guitar all day, that's your life. Like, it's no one to sit around and say that you're wrong. You want to sit there and paint or draw or something, that's your life. You want to build Lego all day, it's your fucking life. I don't care. No one should. Everyone is here for a different reason. And it's not for me to say that your reason is dumb, specifically if it's not disrupted. Is Breaking Free going to keep getting more content each month? Yes. What happens to the end of month bull run to take the family jets? I'm sure we'll have 2 or 3. Yeah, it's not looking the best, to be fair, this end of Christmas bull run pump or whatever it is that we had. Do I think that we can hit an all-time high before the end of the year? It's certainly pretty unlikely. I don't think that it's certainly impossible, but I mean, it's certainly not as probable as I had suspected. I had a 5 or 6K end of year target for Ethereum. It's life. I stand here and I own my targets. But again, I also had a 1,500 buy call for Ethereum, so I'm not too bothered. Anything else? Any more questions? But yeah, Breaking Free is going to get more content every single month. There'll be new stuff on there, and you guys can suggest it as well. What it is that you guys would want to have covered more of. The dating stuff will be probably something that might be the best for people. I find guys fall over when it comes to money and women. Money, they fall over because they either underestimate it or overestimate it in that they don't do the rest. Like money is good in that I'm putting, 50 or 60 or 70% of my time into money, but then guys may overestimate money because that's the big thing to them. Like if they've spent years making it, they think that people care. Like if some guy walks in the room and is a millionaire, I don't care. Most people that care are brokies. So again, you have money, but the only people that give a shit about your money don't have money. So that doesn't matter. Like in some cases now they'll see you as a target because the people that give a shit that you have money, they're broke and they'll try to take it off you. That's why they care. Because most people that you're around, they kind of have money. What's up with cocks? Can you ever trust a guy who has a cock? No, you can't trust Kanye. He's a cock. Kanye is soft. Like he got lipo and a bunch of other shit. He's a plant. Like he's a Hollywood plant. I also can't trust anyone who runs around and shills Kanye. Like honestly, if you were like, you couldn't see that the guy leading like Hitler ideas or the guy that's for white power was black and that was a problem. Like if you couldn't tell that, I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know what to say. A guy calls himself Jesus, just complete blasphemy, and you stand there and they're like, he's a Christian for some reason because he says he is. A guy's a Christian because he marches his chick around nude and was with a Hollywood plant. Guys just don't realize, like, again, their leaders are all control ops and they don't know. Some guys think like Candace Owens represents a white movement and she's black. The other extreme, if you were to get like a black power ideas or, these ideas of like whatever the fuck those black movements are, and then the leader was a white person, you would look in, rightfully so, and be like, what the fuck does this person know about being black? They're fucking white. They shouldn't be leading any movements for black people at all because they don't know what it's like. She doesn't know what it's like to be a white person. And also she's not an ambassador. She doesn't speak for me. She doesn't speak for you if you're white either. She doesn't understand. She's not that. But understand you're presented antichrist ideas because the elites mock you and they laugh about it. When they present you Kanye, do you think that they don't sit there and laugh and laugh and laugh? It's hilarious to them. It's all negotiated behind closed doors. Yes, the white leaders are all, not white. And also, like, your trad movement leaders are not trad. I'm not traditional either, but I don't stand there and say that I am. Because I don't chest beat and say all of this crap that I'm a trad man and all this stuff and all. Because I understand that there are trad men that you could look to and be like, this guy's a good role model, but they'll never promote them. There are guys in white power movements that you would look to and be like, this guy would be a great leader of the movement, but they'll never promote them. Because they don't want them to get any traction. They don't want actual leaders to lead any sort of movement, like your Tommy Robinsons and things like that. That's who Elon and that are pushing. He's in Israel fucking how many times of the year? That's all controlled. Like they're all controlled opposition. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's a monster. I'm not saying he's this and that. But you can best bet he's going to be responsible for people dying. He'll be responsible for a lot of white people being killed. His ideas. Because he doesn't realize that he's going to be used to lead like Christians on the street to fight, Muslims and things in the UK. I would believe that's an idea that they'll push forward. And Elon and that would be cheerleading it because they want the chaos phase. Elon's promoting him on X now, making him viral, bailing him out of court and all of this crap. Because they want to spearhead a Christian movement. Essentially later, they'll have Christian nationalists. They'll be a terror organization. You'll live to see that. Like you really will. Christian nationalists, because a couple of mosques will likely get burnt down in the UK, and then they'll turn around and be like, the Christians are actually formed a terror unit, and then they'll crack down on them further. Christians are public enemy number one, and any movement that can lead them to essentially, you play the game Lemmings, and then if you can lead the Lemmings off the cliff, you're extremely valuable. Like I clicked with that very quickly. It was very valuable to spearhead Muslim ideas if you were white. And now it's very valuable to spearhead Christian ideas if you're willing to steer them off a cliff. Why do you think Tucker Carlson and guys like that are running around saying Christ is king? Do you think they really believe it? He's a plant. His dad is an op, and he's an fucking operator as well. Like, you really don't think so? They talk about like releasing the guy from Blackwater and things like that to go over and care about the Nigerians. You think they won't be suppressing Christians at fucking 100 times the scale as they do now? They'll actually be running them through a mincer, those sort of people. I told you guys that there are groups that are, and they're elite groups that essentially, if you're a Christian, they would pay like $10,000 to get rid of millions and millions of you tomorrow, each one. Because a certain amount of you have to go for the Antichrist to come back. Like, that's spoken about. That's a real thing. It's possible, yeah. It's very, very possible. Christians, and then, I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, honestly, I don't care if you're a Christian, and I believe that I believe in Jesus and all this stuff. But if you do the wrong thing, if you're a rapist and you're a Christian, I would still kill you. Like, I don't care. You don't represent me. Like, if you're coming and you're shitting the place up and things like that, I don't care what religion you are. You're not like me. Like, you're not the same if you're running around raping women or hurting them or beating people up or doing that shit. You're a cockroach. Beating people up is one thing, but again, like preying on the weak. It doesn't matter what denomination you are. You're not my friend. Again, the same thing. Just because someone's a Christian, you're not my brother. You're not my sister. We're not the same. Why? Just because you stand there and say this? Like, what are you actually doing? I don't care that you stand there and hold a Bible and say that we're the same, because we're not. What have you done with yourself? Like, what are you doing? Doesn't mean that because anyone can do that. Anyone can stand there and have a fucking big cross on, and then they're like, yeah, you can watch my kids because, you say you're this Christian, man. And then suddenly one gets abused. That would be dumb. Like, again, a wolf in sheep's clothing, that's easy. Like, understand that when you go to churches and things like that, that's a smoke screen for a lot of people. Why do you think a lot of people get drawn to the church? Because a lot of people have a lot of fucked up ideas, and then they're running there trying to get rid of them. If you were to run and poll people in churches and start pulling them out, a lot of people would have a lot of skeletons in the closet. That's why they're in the church. You can be religious at home. You don't need to run in there and have your little fucking bot kissed and told that it's all okay, unless you're doing a bunch of fucked up shit behind the scenes. And if you are, I'm not speaking for God, but if you really think that I just raped someone and now I'm sorry about it, I'm going to be repentant and all, I don't believe in that. I didn't think if you chuck a kid out of the window and then suddenly you stand there and you're like, oh, I'm sorry and I repent, that you're given a free pass. I would really doubt that. You're judged by what it is that you do here. I would be very surprised. That I think that in itself is very likely a psyop. Your soul can leave you in moments. Your soul is not guaranteed. Most people don't have one here. If you move against yourself, again, I've done certain things where I felt my soul go into my body, and it's very emotional when it happens. It's a very deep moment. I don't know if it's very easy for people to ever understand, because I don't know if everyone's had it. It's usually from a great sacrifice or a moment that broke you, or something that you come back from. It's like there was many souls that were circling around, and then one chose you in that moment. It chose to be with you, and it can also choose to be away from you. It's not guaranteed. Like, if you run around and do a bunch of shit that moves against yourself or your soul, it leaves you, will abandon you. It doesn't just hang off you forever. There are things that you can do where you are condemned. I would believe that. I mean, that stuff's common sense. A lot of that other shit that you can just do a bunch of bad bullshit and then sit in the deathbed and then say that you're sorry and a bunch of other crap, and then suddenly it all vanishes. I don't believe any of that. I think none of that shit is true. Do I think the Bible could have its message distorted? I know you don't like the turn the other cheek stuff, but at least it reads on the surface. Do you believe that was planted? I believe some of the stuff is very likely planted. But I also don't know if that could be truly sure, because I think that there's a framework for how the world has to go. And the Bible is in itself a sacred, it's a sacred book. And I'm not saying the Bible and the Quran or all of this other stuff. It is whatever that you believe. I'm not saying that I believe what I believe, but I'm not saying that one isn't as important as the other. It depends on what it is that you believe. And also it depends largely on where you're from, right? Like, if you're from certain countries and that's your interpretation of things, and that's not to say that you're wrong. You have your path and I have my path. I don't converge on your path, nor do I try to damage your path. It's just we're on different paths. But I don't say that your path is bad or I try to interrupt it. It's your life, and that's fine. And that's how I think that it should be. I don't think that you should come on my path and tell me to get fucked. And I would never come on your path and tell you to get fucked. Nor would I say that your path is dumb, because it could be good. And maybe there is a chance that it's the perfect path and you're right and I'm wrong. That's life. We are both only moving in a direction of faith that we have. We have more in common than people would believe. But we both have our belief that I believe that if it comes to it, neither of us are going to surrender on what our idea is. that's fine. That's the nature of it. That's the nature of conviction. You can respect someone who has that level of conviction as you do. And I can understand why wars and things do happen over such an idea. I would never be force converted or anything like that. I couldn't do it. And also I would believe that others can't be as well. And I would understand that. And that's fine. It's their life and their decision. It's just the life itself, I believe, is a congruency funnel that you move through. You're moved in a way that you have to get your soul to join you. And then once you have your soul, you don't lose it. It's true. It's like you play a game, and then once you get to a certain point, your soul joins you, and then essentially it's yours to lose from that moment onwards. But you're not born with it. Some might get it sooner in their life than others. Some might have it, lose it. Whether they have it, lose it, and get it again, that'd be to be determined. I believe that your conscience, again, you're born with a heads up display, conscience that tells you right from wrong, tells you which direction that you yourself should go into. And if you listen to it, great. If you move away from your conscience, you drift further and further away or further and further down Dante's Inferno. The pinging is less. If you, I don't know, smoke weed once and then after you're like, oh, I feel kind of bad about that. I shouldn't have done that. And then you start doing it every day, the feeling goes away. You don't feel bad anymore. And then if you stop though, and then you go back to it and start, you feel bad. Because again, conscience is like that. If I'm lying to people, I feel bad at first. But if I'm lying to people nonstop, I don't care anymore. Because again, I've slipped down Dante's Inferno and I'm slipping deeper and deeper and deeper. That's it. Any more questions? I would be cooked with that SRB. You don't give yourself enough credit. That's the nature of it. Then again, like a lot of you, maybe not yet, but eventually you're the wisdom that you seek in me. The wisdom that you seek in me, you already have. But a lot of you just don't believe in yourself. So you need to be reinforced until eventually you can stand on your own 2 feet. A lot of you are like, you can ride the bike already, but you choose, like you could ride like a 600cc, but you prefer to stay on like the 125 or the 250, but you're already competent enough to be on the 600, but you don't want to do it. But you already know how to do it. But it's then also some things you don't want to be the guy that's off that. Like some of you through a period of an ego death or starting, but you're trying to clutch onto who you were. You have to let go of the past. A lot of you. You have to forget everyone from the past. The past is the past and that it's a lesson, but the past cannot come into the future. Otherwise, you'll never have a future. You can't exist in the past and the present, and you certainly can't exist in the past and the future to come. One will destroy the other. Like when they come into the same room, it's over. If you bring, I have a new chick and then she can meet my old chick, you're finished. I have a new friendship circle and they can meet my old friendship circle. Everything is destroyed. You didn't let the past go. It doesn't mean forgetting them and the people are bad or the people are dumb or that you're better than them or all of these things. It means that I'm growing. I'm adapting. I'm becoming who I'm meant to be. The fishbowl, eventually you're going to outgrow the fishbowl that you were in. The fish itself, the goldfish story, it gets contained and it grows to the size of the bowl. If your bowl is tiny because people are treating you like shit, well then, yeah, that's right. Life is a series of chapters. Like I say, some good, some bad, some happy, some sad, some that you look to and you're like, this is never going to be better. And then others you look to every now and then in one page, you're like, they could take me out tomorrow. And this moment is that good that I would be happy. They don't happen very often, but they do happen. It's just, again, it's like anything. Like when you're up, or when you're down, you never think that you're going to be up again. And when you're up, you never think that it never feels as good as it did when you were down. You always think that, oh, it's just going to be so special when I'm back on top, all of these things. Because we forget how bad the bads are. So when we actually get to the top, we forget. We're just like, oh, I'm in the gym and I forget what it's like when I couldn't afford a gym membership. I can eat steaks and things like that, but I forget what it was like when I couldn't do that. I have a nice apartment in a beautiful spot, but I forget what it was like when I was sleeping on the floor. But again, comparison itself, the thief of joy. Like you guys, if you're looking at my Instagram and things like that and comparing, that's toxic. Like comparing yourself is only to be done with you, because understand that we're all walking a different part of life. Some people can be blessed with money. Some can be blessed with chicks. Some people can be blessed that they're tall chads. Some people aren't. Some people are blessed with business acumen. Some are blessed with good parents, good family, good structure, they're a good dad. Everyone is good at different things. And also you would be very beneficial to understand that you're walking your own race here. You're not racing others. See, that's the dumbest thing that you guys are psyoped in. Everything's a competition. And that, again, gets you reactive to others. I'm watching them and then I'm careful what they're doing and I have to try to like copy them or one-up them in some way. How are you going to be better at someone who's tasked in a different task than you? What are you fucking meant to be here for? Like, you're not meant to be here to be me. You're meant to be you. No one can ever be better. I can't be a better you than you, and you can't be a better me than me. So when you're watching things online and things like that, like I say, the algorithm itself is hostile. You watch your explore page and you would understand. You watch your explore page and know you will learn a lot about yourself from what's on your explore page on Instagram. You say you're focused on this, but what are you doing? Because the algorithm knows you pretty well. Is it just titty photos, ass photos, money porn? You know, where you're watching shit that makes you feel bad. I'm brokey and then I'm fucking brokey in some shithole and I'm watching guys running around Dubai and a bunch of shit. That's toxic. You shouldn't watch any of that. You shouldn't watch any of that stuff, like for real. If you guys are watching content again, like you shouldn't be watching stuff that triggers you, makes you upset. I'm watching red pill content about guys yelling at women. I'm watching guys talk about women poorly. I'm listening to rap and I'm yelling that bitches ain't shit and all this other crap, but I desperately fantasize about having a girl that understands me. I miss a connection, but then I'm also, chasing shallow pleasures. A lot of people, if they're honest about themselves, the hardest thing to find and the thing that matters the most now is a connection. Matters the most. Pretty faces and guys who have money or girls who have big fat asses, they're a dime a dozen. Like there's a lot of those around. Hard to find someone with a connection though. Connection is very hard to replace. And for women, it's the same. It's hard to have someone that you can talk to because you know that it's hard to get it again. Like if you have a friend or a girl or even your family, if you're to be able to talk to them openly, it's very hard to replace that. Like you'll find 10 girls to fuck before you find one that you can talk to about anything. You might even find 50 girls to fuck before that. So if you're to lose it, that is value. And she thinks the same. I trust this guy enough to open up to him. If I break up and we break up, I can find another guy to fuck, yes, but it's not going to be that easy to replace this guy. I can talk to him about kind of anything that I want. I trust him. He's not, he doesn't gossip about me. If I tell him something, he doesn't run out. But also he doesn't judge me every second. He's not projecting his insecurities onto me all the time. I can talk about fucking myself and crap and he doesn't blow up. Some guys are so obsessed with chicks being virgins and this other crap and things like that, which is, again, if you want a relationship for the long term, to find a virgin, that's up to you. It's possible. But if you just want to be a fuckboy, don't have virgins. Like, what's the point? Most of them are going to be bad at sex. Most of them are going to be clingy. Most of them, again, you take one out. And if you don't have good intentions for her, you take one off another guy. And her first experience is going to be very negative. Someone who just led her on and then pumped and dumped her. So you've destroyed one. And again, you're taking something innocent and you're taking a dump on it. And then you're chucking it back in the ocean. And then some next guy is like, this chick's now fucked because she doesn't trust guys. It's the truth of the matter. And again, a lot of guys, if they're honest with themselves, if you're a fuckboy and you want virgins, it's because you don't know how to fuck. Because most of them don't even know how to fuck. They don't know what they're doing. They're not going to relax. It's going to be hard for them to even like come, but also fuck properly. Those ideas and things are like, I'm inexperienced and now I want to go. Also, guys that I fantasize about having all of this control because I myself want to have a virgin or someone who doesn't have much experience because then I can control her easier. Like when old women say that, that's true. Like guys, red pill dweebs turn around and they're like, that stuff's not true, but that's very true. Like if you get a virgin or a girl with less experience, they're much easier to control, which is fine if you want something for the long term. But if you're just manipulating them, you're just going to spin them around a bunch and then throw them out in the sea. and they're going to be dizzy and they're going to fuck their whole life up for you to get a load of. You're creating the very issue that others have to now live with and you yourself don't like for the most part. OF is another. You know, guys bitch about OF models, but then they run webcam or run that sort of shit. You created the very problem that everyone's drowning in. You see that the mud is there, and then you're sitting there being like, oh, I can't believe it's muddy here. You created half the mud. You pushed a bunch of people into that field and created the very problem that now you complain about. Now pair this a female that you're very open to and she cheated. How hard is it to? Yeah, I guess it depends to be open though. I mean, open to be a chance that you can lose and that she can cheat on you, a bunch of other shit. But again, to me, that's only a lesson. Yeah, it can be a hard lesson to open up to someone she cheats on you, whatever. But I mean, that's just part of life. It's better to know, right? It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Cheating can happen, but have you actually integrated why it is that she cheated? Not just she was a hoe. What did you do? People don't just cheat that often. Like I know that people think that in the red pill that everyone's a cheater and things like that, but it's not that common. Very likely that you yourself didn't have any, like the frame wasn't set. Like cheating happens one slip up at a time. It doesn't just happen that suddenly everything's going smoothly and then she's walking down the elevator and she slips on a cock. It doesn't happen that often. Like it's moved one pace and then the next, like checkers. Women cheat like checkers. Men can cheat like chess, where you can just bang. I'm in the elevator and there's a hot chick we can fuck, but women don't really work like that. Like unless she's a massive thought or she's in porn or something, that stuff doesn't really happen so much. But again, I would be able to learn lessons. You're going to learn from people who hurt you like that pretty rapidly. You know, you're getting feedback in real time, and often it's disastrous feedback for you, but that's part of it. Are you going to incorporate it, or are you going to say that all women are like that? Because if you were to say all women are like that, that's not true. And again, two women, you got to understand how one woman might cheat on you, and then with another guy, she might be amazing and never cheat at all. Do you know how many girls that I've known in my life where they don't see me as anything to listen to? Like I have no authority over them at all. And then it won't go well or we'll break up or whatever. And then the next guy, she's just completely different. She falls under his spell completely. And then I've had the opposite where she's under my spell, but before me, she didn't listen to anyone. Women change based on who it is that they're around. And also it's not a reflection of you. It's like this, like you walk up to a chick and she blows you out. That's just the nature of it. Like you don't know what it is that she's going through as well. Don't take it so personal. Yes, it's personal that she cheated on you, she rejected you, she lied to you, whatever. But how many times did she lie to you before she cheated on you and you never pulled her up on it? How many concessions did you make? And that's probably, if you're honest with yourself, that's what eats you up, is that you know that there were so many signs and so many symptoms and you just sat there and you lied to yourself. And now you probably think, how do I get it back and do all of this shit? I've changed my mind. But also you have to be careful now because you can project on the next one. Because two people do the same thing. One is to do it to deceive and cheat on you. The other is to do it because it's just something that she does. Now you have to be careful because you can take a defective system and now the flags and the red flags, you can be like, she's surely cheating on me and she might not be. And now you're going to project it. And if you project the cheating vibe onto a woman, she will cheat on you. Often people create the very woman that they themselves don't like because they project on it. You're insecure like that, then you can be. I'm worried about this and that, and I'm just letting you know that I have to do this and that and watch this, and I'm careful because my ex cheated on me, a bunch of shit. If you tell a chick that, that's going to be big problems now for you. She knows that you've been wounded before. She knows to give you the kill shot. That's what happens. That's why cheating compounds. Women are, they're a mirror, but they're malleable. So you can create them into something that essentially fucked you over from the last person. Some people do that also because they want to experience it again. It's a subconscious thing. You often recreate the scenario because you want to handle it a different way. It's how you can get closure. But then again, you just get hurt again because you don't really know what you're doing. But that's psychology. That's why I'm the greatest. But yeah, that's the nature of it. Like you got to come to terms with all of that. You need to do an autopsy on the relationship. It's dead. And it best be dead. that you're not following her or checking on her or doing a bunch of shit. But you need to assess what it is that happened and where the cheating started. You don't need to talk to her. It's irrelevant what she says because she's going to lie to you if she's already cheated on you. Anything she says is pointless. If someone's lied to you and a girl or anything like that, then you can't take anything that they say serious. Oh, they lied to me about this and that, but this is genuine. And you'll send yourself mental, especially if they get good at lying. And women can be good liars. You've just got to treat it as you were dealing with a hostile actor and they were there to teach you a specific lesson in yourself. And have you actually learned? Have you incorporated? Have you closed it off? Was your dad cheated on when you were younger? And this is actually now a loop. It happens with a lot of people. Did you recreate it because you're trying to solve the issue for daddy? Happens to a lot of people, these ideas. Again, psychology is fascinating. But you turn people also, again, these ideas, you teach people how to hurt you as well. If they think that hurt, like cheating on you is to hurt you, then that can be a big thing that happens. The hardest thing is when you have a vulnerability, you can't really show it, like a real one. Manufacturing vulnerabilities is an art form. You know, you can leave things out there that essentially someone's like, oh, I'm going to poke this, and you don't care. But everyone has vulnerabilities and things that they themselves are dumb to share. You're dumb to share. So you wouldn't give a chick your kill switch. Doesn't matter if you love her. You wouldn't give a chick your ledger seed code. Doesn't matter if she's the mother of your kids. That's stupid. What's the upside? Maybe there's a 0.01% chance that she destroys you, but she might. But yeah, you have to essentially come to terms with all of that and learn the lesson, the autopsy. You need to do the full detail scale, stretch it out, and see where it all started and why it started and why you went down that funnel as far as you did. Why did you need to see the end? That's a big problem for you. The fact that you saw it through. Why are you reliving some cheat fantasy, sort of an idea? Because then you got to realize that because you can keep reliving it through your whole life. It's not a fantasy and then it gets you off, but it's something that you yourself are trying to figure out. Because it didn't have to go that far. Like it didn't have to go to the end to get cheated on. Like you would have known how many times before that there's many things wrong here. But you played it out to the end. It's like you already knew you're playing chess or something and you have no pieces left on the board, but you're still playing to get in checkmate. I don't play to checkmate if I know that I'm beaten. I'm just like, oh, the game's over. Like, why would I? I don't run through the final humiliation ritual. I'm sitting there with the king and I'm waiting to get circled. I'm just like, oh, the game's finished. That's it. So again, all of that stuff you have to come to terms with. Otherwise, you're going to keep recreating it. How did I lessen the resistance to flipping in the next page of life? People, I find it hard to let go of past connections. Well, again, like I say, guys in TCM, delete a lot of the people from the past for you. You need to do a reality reset. Like a lot of people, if they're honest with themselves, the connections and things that they have, they could delete 80% of them, specifically on Instagram, because it keeps them in the past, a lot of that crap. What should I do to change my circle completely? Can't evolve with my actual contact list, but just I don't want to. Well, that's the thing. That's why people also, they don't treat you well if they know that you can't be alone. Understand conviction and faith. A lot of people only understand it from a book level. I read a book and I read about faith and conviction and all this crap, but where's your conviction? Like something is unsuitable, but you're not willing to do this and wipe it off the screen. You're looking at a screen of shit on Netflix because, again, reality is in itself, it exists, and then it compresses as you witness it. Then, so I understand that it's moving at all times in the superposition and then collapses as you view it. So essentially, you're presented a Netflix page full of movies. You don't like any of them, but you're scared to move to the next page because the page might be empty, and maybe it is. But then you can create your own movie. It's one worth watching. That's it. Like, again, you walk down a path and then you find the path will come as you start to walk down it. It's the truth of the matter. A lot of it, you have a compass, again, your conscience. And when you start to follow it, you're like, I didn't have a vision, and God himself has like created something that I didn't even know was possible just by following my conscience. Sometimes, sometime after you realize that there were signs, but you just wanted it to work out, well, then you lied to yourself. That's it. And don't say that I say it to be harsh or anything like that. I've also done things in the past where I've sat there and known that things were going to fall over. And I'm like, it's not exactly what I want, but I'm pretty comfortable and all this crap. And you tell yourself a bunch of bullshit. But again, like you knew that. Like fantasy and self-delusion, that's for kids. It's the punch that you don't see coming that knocks you out. And if you don't see it coming because essentially you're not looking for it, then that's and also it's by choice. But it's fine. Like there's nothing that's happened that you're still alive. It means that you can still get what you want. But you have to learn from, and you have to realize that as much as you're probably sitting there being like, she was bad, she was this and that, you had a hand in the encounter as well. And you have to be careful. Did you create a cheater? Did you turn her into what she become? Maybe she wasn't before she met you. Some girls are good girls, and you can turn them into cheating hoes. Some guys get a girl that's like a trad girl. They start taking her to the club and other shit, and then they're like, I'm surprised that she become a degenerate. Some guys get trad girls and they get them on drugs for the first time, or give them drugs of any kind. Because understand, dopamine isn't itself a rubber, like it's a rubber band. Dopamine stretches, it's excitement, and then you close it again. But the rubber band is always a little bit more stretched. It's easy to get more open. Women, it's the same. Like that sort of an idea is the same thing. If they've had heightened experiences before, it's going to be harder for you to essentially be able to, I'm not saying reel them in, but you want to be the one that leaves the emotional imprints. And if she's already had a bunch of them, then you're probably cooked. Retrocausality is real, and it's to be determined by a woman's psyche. The one who can leave the most imprint overwrites the past. It's very true. All right, lads. I think that's about it for today. I've got a kink neck. I think we're going to go do something later. It's got a kink neck. My neck's fucked, so I think I'll probably get some massage or something. And you guys have to get massages because essentially what comes up when you get a massage, they're very good for innovation. You're to understand that you're some sort of a physical machine, and that essentially when you're to pull fucking stress knots and things like that out, they're unprocessed emotions. That's why when you get a massage, certain things can come up. I'm not saying that you sit there and cry and all of this shit, but you can be very surprised to be getting a knot pulled out, and then suddenly some thought or some crap comes through your head where you're like, why am I thinking about this? But actually it gets kneaded away with that thing and you process it, because stress is physical in the body, but it's like you're fragmented up. You have to defrag. And yeah, guys that want to join SRB Crypto's up, TCM's up. TCM's just like an elite members club. We do meetups, and I'm in there every week and posting, do lives, post exercise. So I just posted one yesterday. How to find your why. That was the video. And then breaking free as well. This is a smaller product. And yeah, I do new content on there. I'll be doing new content on there every week or two. There's some exercises and things to do on there. It's crypto parts. But yeah, so check it out, lads. And as always, I appreciate you guys in here. I hope you guys see that. I don't think anyone's ever given the value that I give. Fucking hour and a half lives for free, and the top quality content. So anything also that anyone wants to see, always feel free to ask me or anything like that. I always try to help if I can. I don't gatekeep information from you guys. I know some people will be sit there and think that I'm mental, but I don't. I actually don't gatekeep you to a point that I get people message me who I know who might be influencers already and tell me not to talk about certain topics because they don't want you guys to know about it. They don't. Or they want it to be behind a paywall. But yeah, as always, I'll talk to you guys soon. And yeah, stay strong and don't let the market get you down. And also don't, like I say, breaking free by 2030, but do the inner work. Like don't do this projecting to the outside. Everything that exists, again, you're so special that God himself created a universe for you. Everything that exists is for you, but you don't know how to interact with it. Everyone's like, some guys like, oh, but I'm in India and I'm this and I'm that. Your reality might not be as good as mine. Like you might have more hurdles or less opportunities, and you might have a shitty passport and a bunch of other stuff that are disadvantages and things like that. But there's some of the disadvantages can become edges as you move through your own like funnel of individualization. It's true. Everyone has their own cross to carry in life, and that's the thing. Does a massage go against people touching you? It depends. Yeah, well, it's not so much if they're poor. It depends if they're sinister. Depends what entities and things that are around them. But yes, massage can be problematic. If they do happy endings, you don't want them to touch you. Trust me on that. If they do any of that shit, you don't really want to be touched by that. Because again, that's lust-based. A masseuse is different. Like it's the intention behind it. They're not doing it with like the idea of jerking you off. That's different again. A girl that's jerking off like 10 dudes a day, you don't really want her touching you. Like that's a lot of, and also to be in like an area where a lot of dudes are busting and shit. That's not good. None of that shit you want to be around. But again, for therapeutic ideas and things like that is one thing. And also don't ever do that. What's that shit that they do where, I forget what it's called. where they touch people and they do the Reiki. Don't ever do Reiki. That shit's very dangerous. Sound therapy, all of that shit's very, very dangerous. What do you think about Kanye meeting the rabbi? I think he's just controlled opposition as always. He's a little baddie boy, and his whole life is just in the closet. South Park said it best a decade ago. All right, till next time, lads.